So lab systems, what did we have? In the beginning, there was the class system, customized lingual appliance setup, or lab setup. Ormco were one of the people involved with developing this system. And it's actually still, in my eyes, one of the best thought out systems that were done for lingual. I actually think the class system is one of the best. You had to do a setup model, so it gave you some predictability. Like I said earlier, when Cockich was asked in 2008, do you do setup models? He replied, for every case. Every case. He probably didn't do them, he's a technician and he adjusts them or something. But the techniques evolved. Just some pictures, how you get from one to the next. You can see some expansion, change the arch form slightly. It's the same idea, level it. You see that tooth worn there? You have to go for the average level, or we trim the model and then inform the doctor how much we trimmed. And the doctor will tell us if he does good communication. I intend to modify the incisor ledge by grinding or by composite. Very important, composite or grinding, because it determines where we're going to put the bracket afterwards. If it's by grinding, then we need to put the bracket 0.5 millimeter down from the point that you're going to grind from, if you're going to grind 0.5 millimeter. If it's for restoration by composite, we need to keep that tooth in the same position so that you can restore it. I just said that. Move on. Yeah, over the years the class system evolved, and it was still the foundation for many techniques used today, including my own. And I wasn't introduced with the class system, if you like. I had an introduction to lingual orthodontics, which was a little bit special, and insular, very insular, so I'll explain that later. But basically, you do a setup model, and Hero, he uses the class system by using a wire. The original class system used plates. The Dentorum machine is good for that. And over the years, there were other things. You can find all this information in the books. You look in Raffi Romano's first book, Lingual Orthodontics, which some consider a Bible to the introduction of lingual orthodontics, his first one, and it'll give you all these systems. So you don't need me to talk for hours about it, because it's all available. A little bit of research, a little bit of reading, and I've done thousands of hours of reading because I needed to teach myself. Nobody was going to teach me. Nobody was going to give it to me on a plate. So it's important that you understand this. But there was problems with the class system because it's very time consuming. So people were looking like Henrique. He's one example. He looked for a system to go quicker. He told you this morning. I needed speed, you said. You couldn't do the setups. So you went for instruments, yeah? So that's why people developed instruments. First instruments were developed to get the positions of the brackets level. Of course, they're aiming for a flat plane. You want the simplest wire you can get. And second, to position the brackets more accurately. So as the class system evolved, so did the transfer trays. And there's all sorts of composite trays, trays using wires, techniques using wires to support. And in Korea, they do a lot of this. And if you look in the book outside, which is a Korean book, you'll see the progression of the transfer trays, the clips and the what have you. There's so many I can't remember. But they've gone through a succession of at least 5 or 6 different individualized trays. The problem also with the class system is You're bonding on the model, the setup model. How do you put that in the mouth? There's only one way you can put it in the mouth. Individually. So, if you put it individually, it's long. It takes time. And some of the systems like that there, the composite is actually bonded to the bracket. Composite. That's how Hero did it originally. You take the composite over the edge of the bracket to hold the bracket. And then you have to cut the composite in the mouth once you've bonded to release it. I did once for a very well-known client in London, just thinking that I would help him because the teeth were so crowded. It was very difficult to do a soft tray, a Memosil tray that I normally do. And I thought, oh, this one I should do a Hero jig. And he just, that's the only time he's written to me with exclamation marks. Never, ever do that again. Just because he didn't want to waste his time.